one of the most prosperous and economically developed nations in the world, with a large history and culture. But how did Germany even come to be? Well, um, Germanic languages and cultures can be traced back to the Romans, in which it was a kingdom. Once the Roman Empire collapsed, Germanic kingdoms were conquered by the Kingdom of the Franks, in which when it also collapsed and broke into three states, East Francia, Middle Francia, and West Francia. Um, uh, the three those were the three states that followed after the collapse of the Kingdom of the Franks. This is about where Germany's history really begins. West Francia soon became what is now France. Middle Francia was annexed by a bunch of kingdoms, and East Francia soon became the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire. Now, the Holy Roman Empire, or the HRE, is a very complicated state, but to put it in short terms, it was a large nation in Central Europe, which was the First Reich, or in English, First Empire of Germany. The Teutonic Order. To find out about how Germany actually came to be, you have to know about the Teutonic Order. Long story short, the Teutonic Order was formed in Israel. Yes, Israel. By some merchants and knights and stuff, like that. Blah, blah, blah. Basically, they conquered the Baltics and were basically a coastline along the Baltic Sea. Now we need to talk about Poland. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was a large and powerful state in Eastern Europe, who fought the Russians, Germans, Ottomans, Swedes, basically a lot of people. The Duchy of they established a puppet state called the Duchy of Prussia, and if any of you know how Germany originally formed, the word Prussia may ring a bell. Long story short, Prussia eventually declared independence and became a kingdom with parts of it in the HRE and parts of it not in the HRE. Prussia spent a lot of time expanding itself as a state, and soon a certain revolution happened in France. Now, I don't want this to be a Napoleonic Wars video, but basically, Prussia had recently participated in the partition of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth with Russia and Austria. One lost to Napoleon later, and it lost a lot of territory, losing its Polish gained lands to the Duchy of Warsaw, a French puppet state. Other lands in Europe were lost to the Confederation of the Rhine, a French puppet state. Once Napoleon lost and Europe's borders were redrawn, Prussia grew in size significantly, being part of the new German Confederation, a confederation states in what used to be the HRE, including Austria, Bavaria, Prussia, and other states. Denmark had owned Holstein and Schleswig for quite some time, and when its king wanted to make it further tied to Denmark, Austria and Prussia crushed the Danes out of the region. When Austria and Prussia couldn't decide who would own the lands more than the other nation, they went to war. The northern German states sided with Prussia, and the southern German states sided with Austria. When Prussia won, Austria lost Schleswig-Holstein. The northern German states joined to form the North German Confederation, a nation made up of the North German states. Fast forward a bit, and the Spanish throne is empty. Prussia and France both want it, and Prussia sends an angry letter to France, in which France fights the North German Confederation over. The South German states sided with the North German Confederation, and when France lost, the South German states joined the North German Confederation to make the German Empire, the first real unified German state. The New Germany also nabbed a bit of territory from France called Alsace and Lorraine, and sealed the North German Confederation. Nothing really interesting happened in the following years, except that the Berlin Conference was held in, you guessed it, Berlin, in which Africa was divided by the major powers of Europe, in which Germany also got what is now Togo, Cameroon, Namibia, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi. Alright, now let's go to World War I. Europe was a really tense place, and the Austro-Hungarian Empire just declared war on Serbia because they refused to give in to their unfair demands because the Austrians think that they killed the Archduke in Bosnia since the person who killed him was Bosnian Serbian. Germany declares war on Serbia, and Germany does some really bad stuff in Belgium when they attacked it, and France throughout the war. They also invaded Russia, and a certain communist revolution broke out in Russia, which granted Germany a lot of territory. But that wouldn't last long as they would lose the war. When the war ended, the German Empire ceased to exist and was replaced with the democratic Weimar Republic. Now, the Weimar Republic struggled economically mainly due to the Great Depression and its decisions to print tons of money, which led to hyperinflation. Keep in mind, the Weimar Republic still had to pay a lot of money to the Allied powers from the First World War. The biggest thing the Germans lost from the war, aside from their overseas empire, was their pride, which was completely taken away from them with the defeat in World War One. All right, the German people were really upset from the loss in the previous war. So when a certain Adolf Hitler came around, things unfortunately took a turn with the new Nazi Party, in which Hitler was made Chancellor of Germany and soon declared himself dictator. Horrible actions from Hitler and the Nazi Party led to the deaths of millions of people, especially 6 million innocent Jewish men, women, and children. Hitler made Austria join Germany, invade Czechoslovakia, and on September 1st, 1939, he declared war on Poland. The United Kingdom and France declared war on Germany, in which Poland was divided between the Soviets and the Germans. When Germany lost the Second World War, the Allied powers split up Germany up, in which the Soviets made a communist East Germany, and the Allies merged their occupation zones to make a West Germany. The Berlin Wall separated the prospering west of the city and the more economically struggling east. When the Soviet Union collapsed, the Berlin Wall was torn down and the two German states reunified to make what is now Germany.
Thank you to Brandon and Elon Ties. Go subscribe. Bye.